Hi everyone, hello. As you know, today the FIDE World Rapid and Blitz tournament started in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. We already have 5 rounds played in the open section and 4 rounds played in the women's section. What I would like to do with this video is to present 21 different positions from 21 different games where there was a tactical opportunity present in the game, where some of them were even missed by one player or by both players playing the game. I will be going through those positions one by one and explain what was missed and what was played. However, there will be an opportunity for you to pause the video if you want to solve the positions yourself, or take some time to think about it. And this is honestly what I would encourage you to do. So I would be even more interested to know how many of the positions you have managed to solve. So if you keep the count of them, I do encourage you to share in the comment section how many of those positions you have managed to solve. One of the reasons why I do this, tactics and combinations are one of my passions in chess. Obviously, there is an opening prep. There are many different things that come into the play where you are trying to improve the level of chess you are playing. But I'm a type of person who is really into puzzles, tactics, and I could not miss the opportunity to go through the games, or some of the games I should say, and pick the interesting and, or in my opinion, challenging examples. Now, before we go into the examples, I would like to highlight that I might mispronounce some of the names or second names of the players. If that happens, I do apologize. If you know the correct pronunciation of some of the names or second names, please let me know in the comment section. All right, so the first position I have here is from the round 1 of the open section. We had a game here played between Levon Aronian and Aleksandr Riazantsev. Black here played the move g4. I think probably the idea here is to break this pawn chain between the white king and try to build some attack against the king. But I would like to ask you to pause the video for a second and see what Levon played here, which eventually won him decisive material. Levon played here the move e4, attacking the both knight on f5 and the rook on b6. So essentially we are using an opportunity of the loose piece on b6 and executing a double attack. So there was a trade of pawns on the e4, which doesn't really change much as far as the tactical attack is concerned. Black played knight to h6, and after queen takes b6, Levon here is up a full rook and obviously completely winning position. So in the original position, probably instead of playing the g4, Black could have realized that the rook on b6 is hanging and play probably something like rook to b7. So if you found this move e4 in this position, which Levon played, good job. We are moving to the second position. Here I have again the position from the round 1 of the open section. We have here Chinese Grandmaster Zeng Chongsheng playing against Fabiano Caruana from United States. Here the knight on d3 is hanging and white played bishop to f1 defending the knight. Pause the video and see what Black could play in this position. Now Black actually took on these 3 traded pieces. The game continued and eventually ended with a draw, but what Fabiano could have played here is actually the fork knight to c2, forking both queen and the rook, and the rook on f2 does not defend that square because that rook is pinned against the king. So it's a bit confusing why Fabiano didn't play that move, because there isn't much that white can do here. If they go bishop to e3, we just take the bishop and we are up a piece. So in this position, the move is knight to c2. I don't think, I mean, I don't know, obviously, but I think probably Fabi saw it, but he didn't like it for some reason. But this is the move which can win material for black here and was not played in the game. If you saw it, good job. Moving to the next example. Here we have a game played between Nodirbek Abdusattorov from the host country, from Uzbekistan, against Vrolijk Liam from Netherlands. In this position, Nodirbek is pressing with white, so he has more active pieces, and black here played the move rook to c8, trying to attack or probably get rid of this knight and allowing very interesting tactical shot for white, which I would like to ask you to try to find. Nodirbek played here is this very strong hit, knight takes g7. The idea here is that we would like to play knight to e7 check and fork the rook and the king, but we cannot do it because the bishop and rook defends the square e7. But after this capture on g7, we are deflecting one of the defenders of e7 square in this particular bishop, and it turns out that now we can play the move knight to e7 because the rook on e8 doesn't really defend that square. In the game, black played king to f8 and obviously lost the material, but if they had taken on e7, we take on c8, and after bishop to f8, there are a couple of moves that win. The easiest one would be probably bishop to a3, using the fact that the bishop on f8 is pinned and attacking the rook on e7. Now we have a couple of examples from the women section. Here we have a game from the round 1 between Harika Dronavalli from India against Alua Nurmanova from Kazakhstan. What happened here? White has some advantage and trying to play for a win. Black here played the move knight to d3, and it looks like an move which attacks the queen and places the black knight in the active position in the opponent camps, but it doesn't work for tactical reasons, and obviously a player of a Harika's caliber found the way to win material here. What she played was she realized that we have this weak diagonal against the black king, and it would be nice if we could decoy the queen to the e6 square and play the move bishop to d5 to skewer queen and the king. So that is possible. She first took on the d3 square, then took on e6, essentially sacrificing an exchange twice, and played bishop to d5, winning the queen. So very brilliant tactic which was played in the game, and Harika obviously went on to win this position. So if I go back to the original position, it's just a matter of sacrificing the exchange twice, making sure that the black queen and king lined up on this weak diagonal, and playing the move bishop to d5. Brilliant stuff. I have here again the position from the round 1 in the women's section. It's again Indian and Kazakhstani encounter. We have black with white pieces, Divya Deshmukh playing against Kazakhstani woman grandmaster Meruert Kamalidenova. So in this position, black played queen to h3, given a check. White responded with king to e1. I would like to ask you to pause the video and find what opportunity black had here. In this game, black played queen to g2, which doesn't use the tactical opportunity here. Eventually black did win the game though, but here they could have won the game basically on the spot. The right continuation here is to play queen to h1. White king has to go to the second rank, and here we sacrifice the rook on f2. White has to take, otherwise he loses a queen, but if they take, we give a check from h2 and pick up the queen on b2 on the next move. So very strong tactic, which could have ended the game on the spot in this position. We just force the king to the second rank, get rid of this pawn and on f2, and deliver a deadly check on this rank. Move forward, the last position from the round 1. Here we have Georgian player Gvetadze Sofio playing against the Irina Krush from the United States. Unfortunately for 8-time US champion Irina Krush, this tournament hasn't been going well for her. She has a half a point after 4 games, so it's certainly not a great result for the player of her level. And in this game, in the round 1, she was pushing for a win. She had a great position and played this move e4. You can pause the video for a second and try to find the issue with that move and how we can use it as white. So the problem of that e4 move, although it does push the pawn forward and creates a passed pawn, it does loosen the knight on d4, and white immediately used that opportunity. They played the move b4 check. Now black king cannot keep defending the knight on b4, so neither king to c4 nor king to d5 are possible moves. Black had to take the pawn and lose the knight. Now, to be fair, this particular position is not really losing for black, because they have two extra pawn, and the pawn on e4 is very strong. But unfortunately for Irina, the position went from very good, close to winning for her, to the position where she had to fight to make a draw. So in the original position, the e4 obviously was a mistake because it loosened the knight on d4. We're moving to round 2, continuing with the open section. Here we have a game between Abdisalim of Abdimalik from Uzbekistan playing against Aleksandr Shimanov. In this position, what happened was black played the move queen to c6, so it's a very interesting move, lining up the forces on the a8 h1 diagonal against the white king. And here the problem of this position for white is that the knight on d6 is pinned, and they cannot really move the knight anywhere, nor they can now play the move e5, because with the queen on c6 there is a mate threat on g2. So white plays somewhat logical move, rook to f2, defending the pawn on g2, now preparing the move e5, and the game continued with knight to e8, sort of forcing the e5 move because black threatens to take the knight on d6. White played the move e5, and here black had a great opportunity which they miss in this position. They took on d6, and the game continued after e takes d6, but I would like to ask you to pause the video here and try to find an opportunity which Aleksandr Shimanov missed. Now here the problem white has here is that this rook on f2 can be removed, and the right continuation for black would be bishop takes e5, f takes e5, rook takes f2. Now here white cannot capture the rook with the bishop because there will be a mate on f2. and if they capture with the king, would take on f2, and on the next move we capture the knight on g3. So this way we win the material. We will be up a pawn, but we also damage the white king's position significantly, and this pin still hasn't been solved. So it was quite complicated. I think probably it's the most complicated example that we have here, but I really like the opportunity. Also, it seems like rook to f2 is the solid move which keeps everything together, but white position still remains quite shaky. Right. The next example I have here is the game that was played between untitled player Sergey Sklokin and young talented grandmaster Murzin Volodar. In this position, the white played the move bishop to d4, probably trying to force some trades of the pieces, but this idea doesn't work, and I would like to ask you to find why. The problem with this move is that, as you can see, this squares d4 and g1 are forkable by the knight from e2, and what Volodar played here was he took on d4 first, and after queen takes d4 he cannot capture on e2 yet because the knight defends that square, but what he did, he removed the knight from c3, and in this position his opponent resigned, because regardless of what white takes on c3 with, the next move would be knight takes e2 checks. They will win the queen back and be up a pawn with completely winning position. Second position is still again from the open section of the round 2. Here we have an encounter between Petrov Nikita from Montenegro and Jan-Krzysztof Duda from Poland. In this position, white's position is already not that great. They're on the back foot, and Nikita here played rook to d1, which is the decisive mistake of the game. Try to find the continuations that Jan-Krzysztof Duda played here. He sacrificed the queen on h4, brilliant sacrifice. The idea here is that if white takes, we take on g2, and regardless where white king really goes next, we will be playing knight to f2 check, force the white king to capture it, and we will be up an exchange. I can show you the variation. Queen takes f2 is forced. We are up an exchange with a completely winning position. In the game, after queen takes h3, white played king to g1, but it doesn't really solve the problem with Jan-Krzysztof Duda took on g3. Here we are threatening to take on g2. We are attacking the queen, and Petrov Nikita resigned in this position. Now we're going to the women's section. We have three quite interesting examples from round 2 of the women section. The first one is a game played between Hampi Konerev from India and Munkul Turmunkh from Mongolia. In this position, Hampi Konerev was low on time, and she played the move c7, hoping to push this pawn and queen on the next move, but she missed an idea which I would like to ask you to find now. What she missed was that after rook h3 check, it's essentially mate in 2 that white cannot stop. Queen to h2 is the only move, and queen to h1 is the mate on the next move. So very unfortunate for Hampi that she missed this, and very good find for her opponent with the victory on round 2. Next example we have is a game played between Vaishali from India versus Hejazipur from France. Varshali obviously being the obvious favorite of this game, if not the whole rapid and blitz woman section. She has a good position and tries to use the weakened pawn structure around the black king. Mitra here played the move bishop to f4, trying to bring bishop closer to the king and defend those weak squares, but she missed the tactical shot, which I would like to ask you to pause the video and find. The idea here is that white would like to play the move knight to d6 and fork the rook and the queen, but they cannot do it now because there are two defenders of the d6 square, the rook on d8 and the bishop on f4. So what she did, she first removed one of the defenders, so now the d6 square is only defended by the bishop on f4, and then she played the move queen to f6, attacking that pawn. Black are essentially, they're forced, or they have to play bishop to g5, which happened in the game, defending that pawn. And now we have removed two defenders of the d6 square, or not we, actually, Varshali did. And she played the move knight to e6, essentially forking rook and the queen. Black here tried to play bishop to e6, but the problem is that we take on e8 with the check, and then Varshali went back to d6, being up material and essentially winning position. Very great tactics again. Even though the d6 square was very well defended, Varshali found a way to remove both of those defenders. All right, here we have an example. Again, it's round 2 women section. We have here woman international master from Armenia, Susanna Gabayan, playing against the Chinese woman grandmaster Jai Mo. In this position, white played the move b3. Pause the video and try to find the problem with that move and what black can play here. The problem with this b3 move is that also it seems like it solidifies the pawn on c4. It weakens this whole a5 e1 diagonal, which black used in the next two moves. They took on e2, and after rook takes e2, bishop to c3 with skewer and winning an exchange. So quite a nice tactic missed by Susanna when she played the move b3 here. All right, we're moving to round 3 now. Again, we go with the open section. We have here a game played between Vladislav Artemiev and Vadim Zegintsev. Here, it's quite a complicated position here, and it's white to move, and white decided that they can capture the pawn on c4. Pause the video and think if that pawn is capturable or not. Now the answer is no, although the grandmaster with more than 10 minutes on the clock took that the pawn. The problem here is that after queen to d5, it's double attack both on the knight on c4 as well as the square on g2, from which black can deliver a mate to white king. White essentially resigned in this position, and if you look at it initially, it might look like they just blunder a piece, but it's not just a piece, because there's almost no easy way to stop the mate on g2. They can play f3, but at this point we can obviously capture the knight on c4, but there's even something better. Black can take on f3, renews the threat of the mate, and white essentially has two moves, either queen to c2 or rook to d2, and in both scenarios we just play rook to e2, again creating the mate threat where white would need to sacrifice a rook or a queen to stop that mate. So very obscure mistake by the grandmaster, and just shows you that we're all vulnerable for tactics. Right. The second position I have from the round 3 is from the women's section. Here we have a game between Laman Hajieva from Azerbaijan playing against Anna Muzichuk. Anna is having a very good tournament. By the way, she's on 3 points after 4 games, and in this position she have managed to win this game against her opponent. White here played the move queen to g3, try to find the very strong moves that Anna Muzichuk found here and played. So she played the move knight to f4, and it's a multifunctional move really here, because first of all it uses the opportunity, or uses the fact that the pawn on e3 is pinned. It attacks the pawn on g2, and it also creates this threat against the rook on c1 and the queen on g3 with the threat of the fork on e2. Now, white really cannot stop all of those threats. It's too much to handle. They played the move d4, but after d4, Anna continued with this knight to e2 idea. It comes with the check, so white cannot really capture on c5. After king to h2, she took the pawn and then played the move queen to h5, sort of taking the black queen out of the danger, but white still has the fork threat to deal with. So they have taken care of the issue with the g2 square, but there is still fork on the board, and Anna Muzichuk won the exchange in this position and eventually went on to win the game. Moving to round 4, we have here the position played between Armenian Grandmaster Robert Hovhannisyan and the Dutch Grandmaster Vrolijk Liam. Now here it's equal position where white played the move king to g2. Pause the video and try to find an issue with that move. Now this king to g2 move, it looks like a natural move, but unfortunately for Liam it's a blunder, and what Robert found here is a move rook takes e2 check. This bishop obviously cannot capture because it's pinned, and in this position white resigned, because the problem here is that white didn't just lose a pawn on e2, which in itself is a very serious problem, but white has no way of defending the bishop on f3. So if they play something like king to g3, trying to hold on to this bishop, black will play rook to e3 and that bishop will be lost. So with that move, king to g2, they blundered both bishop and pawn. So very nice tactic here, which Robert Hovhannisyan found and won the game. Now round 4, we have a position from the women's section. Here we have a game against where Vaishali plays against Daria Vogt. I have to say that Vaishali is having a great event, which I think most of the people were expecting from her. She's on a 3.5 points out of 4, and in this position it seemed like the game will end with draw, because it's an equal material, and neither side can really push the pawns. And here Vaishali's opponent thought that they can take on e3, force the capture with the rook, and then play the move rook to d6, essentially winning that pawn. Try to pause the video and see if that's playable or not. Now unfortunately for Daria, that's not a playable variation. She went for it though. She took on e3, and after Vaishali took on e3. She played rook to d6, but there was probably a shock when she saw the move rook to d3 on the board. So white defends the pawn on d7 via the x-ray, and obviously exchange of the rooks means that black is lost because the white pawn queens on the next move. So very, very unfortunate for Daria Voit, who played a very good game and probably deserved a draw against the favorite of the tournament, but one small mistake in the end cost her the game. Last example from round 4, it's a game played between Ravi Rakshita from India versus Maria Muzichuk. Unlike Anna, Maria is not really having a great event yet. She's on a 1.5 point out of 4, and hopefully she can bounce back yesterday to improve her score. Here she actually had a winning position, so she has 2 extra pawns, but as we know, with opposite color bishops it's never easy. She played the move king to f2, try to find a continuation for white, which Ravi Rakshita found. Now the idea here is that after king to f2, white king has nowhere to go, so white uses opportunity to force a draw. They played the move f4, giving up that pawn, so giving up one of the pieces that can move. And after the pawn was captured, she played the brilliant move bishop to h5. So here obviously black cannot capture it because it will be a stalemate. They played the move g5, but now the problem is that there is again a great move, bishop to g4. Again, the bishop cannot be captured for the same reason, but the problem here is that since now there is a bishop on f4, the pawn on f5 cannot be saved. And after king to g3, white took on f5, and now we ended up in this position, which will be a draw because the white can just stay on this diagonal, eventually sacrifice the bishop for the pawn on g4, and in this setup black would not be able to win this endgame because they have a bishop of the wrong color. The h1 square is a light color where they have a dark squared bishop. So the game continued with bishop e4, bishop e5, bishop e6. Black played bishop to d4, and after capture on h3, the game ended in a draw stalemate. So very, again, unfortunate and painful giveaway probably for Maria. She had a complete winning position, but one small inaccuracy gives the opportunity for Ravi to force a draw, and kudos to Ravi obviously for finding this very brilliant and a very good opportunity. So we are moving to the round 5. Here we will only have positions from the open section because there were only 4 rounds played in the women's section. Here is a position from the game between Ivan Cheparinov and Richard Report. Ivan played here brilliant, fantastic move, rook to e8, and after rook to e8, the idea is not really to take on e8 yet. The idea here is to take on f6, and after king takes f6, we now have king on f6, queen on c2, forkable squares by the knight, and we take on e8 we promote the knight and end up a piece in this position. The interesting thing is that it doesn't really matter what black takes on f6 with. They can take even with the rook. Again, the king on g8 and the queen on c7 would still be forkable. So very brilliant tactics by Ivan Cheparinov to win the game. And I would like to also mention that Ivan is also he had a fantastic day 1. He's on a 4.5 points out of 5, so he's in the pack of the players who are in the lead. So great really event for him after day 1. We continue with the position from the game played between Brahas and Fedoseev. Here it's an equal position, which actually ended in a draw, but Fedoseev here played the move rook to f8, giving black a chance to win some material. Pause the video and try to find what black could have played here. Now here black could have played a very strong move g3, trying to create a mate in one threat with the rook. Obviously bishop cannot take on g3 because the rook will hang, right? White's only sensible response would be king to f8, getting away from the mating threat, but then black plays bishop to b5. White has to go to e1, they cannot go back to g1 because of the mate, and here we takes a pawn on g2, so we win a very important pawn, and we're gonna have 2 passed pawns here, which should decide the game. So Barras missed that opportunity. He played king to g6 here. The game continued and ended with a draw, but he had a brilliant chance here with this position to play g3s and bishop to b5 and get a chance to take down strong 2700 rated grandmaster. We have 2 more positions to go. Here we have a game between Jurgen van Foreest and Holt Conrad. Here surprisingly Jurgen van Foreest took on f5, thinking that probably queen takes f5 and queen takes c6 is just a trade of pawns, but you can pause the video and find the best continuation for black here. The problem for white is that after queen takes on c6, it's essentially a forced mate against black. So if they go to king to b1, which actually happened in the game, black plays rook takes b2, brilliant sacrifice, and if white goes to a1, there's a move queen to c3, so there is really no way to stop those discoveries and mate against the white king. If they take on b2, we play rook to b8 check, and if they go to a3, there's a mate on a6, and if they go back to a1, there's a queen c3 mate. So very nice sacrifice, which Conrad Holt found in the game, and it's quite interesting. It's probably my ignorance that I never heard of Holt Conrad from United States before. I was watching an official broadcast where Daniel Naditsky said that he actually works a full-time job. He's based in San Francisco, if I recall it correctly, and he maintains this level of play while having a full-time job, which I understand is not chess related, and he's on a 4 out of 5 after the game 1 of the Rapid World Championship. Now the last example of the day, I hope you stayed with me for all these positions. Here I have a game between Alexei Sarana and Nestor Varseny. Here it's an equal position, which should probably end in a draw, but it's white to move, and white has a problem with g2 square, which is being attacked, and it's not really clear how to save that g2 square. White played seemingly natural move g3, but that move allowed black to win the game. You can pause the video for the very last time and try to find the continuation. Arseny played brilliant rook to g2. the idea here is to force the king back to h1, and then he played the move rook to c2, which is a great move. We are attacking that knight on c6, which is not defended, and we are threatening the mate on c1. So if they move somewhere with the knight, the rook c1 would be mate, and white here played king to g1, after which black took the rook and went on to win the game. That was it. Essentially, those were all the positions that I brought up for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you put some effort into solving them. I am really interested to hear how many of them you got right, so please let me know in the comment section, and also let me know if you liked the content, if you liked the positions, if you feel like they were too easy, too difficult. I'm really curious to hear the feedback, and I think I will do the similar video for the second and third days of the Rapid World Championship as well. So thank you again for watching. Have a nice rest of the day. Take care. Bye.